Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 26, Soft Health, a holistic approach to diet, workouts, and lifestyle with the wonderful Cynthia Hey DC, trainer in practice for over 22 years. She specializes in low force adjusting and in low impact training. Early in her career, while her husband was active in the US Air Force, she practiced in the states of Nevada, California, Kansas, and Virginia. And she is here to tell us about soft health, a title that I am enjoying so much in terms of teaching us that healthy, balanced lifestyle that we are all longing for. Cynthia, welcome. Thank you for giving us the honor of joining us today.
Thank you so much, Roxy. The honor is mine. I'm so glad to be here with you. We'll try to spread some wellness together to anyone who's open to being more healthy without extremes.
Wonderful. And I have got to tell you before we start that I myself have had challenges with putting balance in eating since I was rather young, and I thought that I would need to eat a lot of meat to keep myself healthy. And I have gone through several processes and all sorts of methods. I am very grateful to meet you today to please tell us, how is your story? What has made you start this beautiful path of wellness?
Thank you for asking, Roxy. The wellness path began for me probably in high school. Initially, I was having some bad headaches, and the medical community wasn't really finding answers for me. I was told to take Tylenol and get glasses, and I was doing both of those things, but the headaches persisted. But my parents were seeing a chiropractor who used a low force method. It's called activator methods. And this is an activator instrument here. It's a handheld with a spring load, a very gentle end here that's put just on the joints that need it. And that was helping their backs. And it ended up, they were talking to him about their daughter with her headaches and nothing was helping. And he said, maybe there's something wrong in her neck that's referring pain up into her head. Some of the vertebra might be out of alignment, putting pressure on nerves, sending pain up into the head. Let me check her. So he checked me, and that helped. And the instrument was such a relaxing way to be treated that it planted the seed that maybe one day I would want to do this and help people in that way. So that was part of my wellness background. But in the exercise sense, also in high school, my dad had been working out in a gym and was getting great results, and he was very enthusiastic about it. So he took me around the gym and showed me all the exercises. And then I found that that was not only fun and exciting, learning new exercise, but it was relieving stress. So it was mental and physical for me. And then I became very devoted to that. And I became certified as a fitness trainer as a result of that. So therefore, I was a chiropractor and a fitness trainer. And then after being in practice for 20-ish years, I also just started noticing how many different fad diets have come and gone, and how when I read more and more about the Mediterranean diet, that's been around for centuries, and the research totally supports it. And I realized that doing that is what's easiest for me to sustain. And like I said, the research totally supports it. So I've been advocating that for patients and for myself. And then I just started putting these ideas together into a book, and there came out Soft Health, a handbook for those who aren't motivated by killer workouts and strict diets, just to show that we can live moderately and be healthy if the extremes tend to overwhelm you, which they do for me.
What a journey, Cynthia. Thank you so much for sharing your great path with us. And I'm loving that you tested everything on you and then you decided to pass it on, because indeed, if we can't help ourselves, it may be challenging to spread the enthusiasm further.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, I think a lot of people, when something helps them, they think, well, it may not help everyone else, but there will be other people out there that this could help too. And then you want to share something if it made a difference to you, to see who else that might help. And it is a big motivator for education and telling others how you've been helped.
Oh, definitely. And thank you for showing us the instrument, because many people may be wondering, okay, how does this work exactly? But since you are showing it and saying that it is very relaxing, I'm very curious to try it out on myself. It's
Yeah.
so further away, but
I know. I wish I could see you in the office. I would love that. The chiropractic is one thing we cannot do virtually. There are some professions you can, but not mine, unfortunately. But just one other illustration, since you're curious here, this is a little model of the spine. And then of course, you've got skin over this. This is the neck and back without the skin, but you're aiming usually for, it's called the transverse process. It's one part just on just the side of the spine. And then the instrument makes that little adjustment. Sounds like a stapler, but it's really just a very gentle impulse. There's a spring that's released there. And there's different settings. It's a lot lighter for the neck area. It's a little more forceful for the lower back and pelvis, but still it's always gentle. It's the most widely used low force technique out there. So it's very comfortable. And I like to combine that actually with a little focused massage on the problem muscles, and then some cranial pressure points just to calm the nervous system, so that the whole experience then is just one of relaxation and pain relief. And that's what it finally turned the corner for me to go into independent practice, because all of these three techniques take time, and it's hard nowadays. I understand, for employers to hire someone who wants to take that much time with a patient. It's hard to do. So, for the employer. So I understand it on their end. And then on my end, I've just been in the field so long that it just feels right now to practice authentically and to do things the way that I just feel I can get the best result for the patient.
this is beautiful that you are doing what's right for you in terms of your own personal development as a chiropractor, and you're also helping people. You're serving them for such a long time to start living a life of wellness, as you said at the beginning. Can you please, Cynthia, share with us, what does wellness mean and how can one achieve wellness in their lives?
For me, wellness, it's going to be your various aspects of keeping active in whatever way is best for you, because everybody's not going to be active in the same way, and that's fine. So finding a form of activity that you enjoy and being consistent with it is a big part of wellness. Also, just mentally, we want to try to have coping mechanisms for times that we're feeling stressed or times that we're feeling down. Just having ways to combat some of the negative thinking that comes upon us all. So that's part of health. And then, of course, what you're putting into your body, what you're eating. You want to find a way to, same with the exercise, finding a way that you enjoy eating well. Because if you're trying to eat perfectly good foods all the time and you don't like them, that's not going to last. So that's what I love about the Mediterranean diet, is there's a lot of wiggle room and a lot of choices. And, the main thing is you want to be eating the foundational food groups, which in the Mediterranean diet, it's going to be your produce, your fruits and vegetables, your legumes, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds. And then you want to have whole grains. And those are the 4 foundations. And a lot of variety within that is fine. So if you're finding your sweet spot of those foundational 4 things, then you can add in some complementary. If you like a little poultry, fish is encouraged too, But these are complementary foods to those 4 foundational food groups. So doing that is going to promote greater wellness when the majority of your foods are in those groups. That's huge health benefits right there. So those, I would say, are the most important aspects: is physical activity that's consistent, that you enjoy, eating, wholesome foods as the majority of your plate, and then complementing with some other things, and then having ways to combat negative thinking and having some positive coping skills when life gets tough, because it will get tough for everybody.
I am very grateful that you are mentioning the word enjoy when it comes to exercising and when it comes to diet as well. Promoting and choosing a Mediterranean diet is one of my favorites. It's very nice to be able to enjoy each bite, not think that I need to be working out drastically after I enjoy my fish. It's
Yeah.
a nice way to think of balance and to create this great lifestyle where you can actually enjoy it all. Enjoy eating, enjoy working out, enjoy taking care of your mental health. And Cynthia, could you please tell us, how do you cope with fear and negative emotions that sometimes may come without you being prepared?
That's a great question. And I'll say that is definitely a work in progress. I can't say that I live without fear by any means. I definitely have my own fear things that I deal with. But one of the things that I've heard you talk about it, and I've heard some other wonderful role models talk about, is looking openly at your fear and what it might be trying to tell you. Because sometimes there is a positive message underlying it, or just something that your deeper emotions are saying, be aware of this, and they're trying to protect you from something. So if you, instead of blocking it out, just look at it and listen to it and say, what are you trying to protect me from? Or what is your biggest concern? And then there are often ways that you can address that. Also, sometimes you're going to feel fear, but that doesn't mean it has to stop you. So for example, I, by nature, I'm definitely a shyer type of a person, but I'm working through some of that timidness, and I'm doing things like this, like podcasts, and I've given some live presentations too, like in front of live bodies, and that's also something that generally makes me fearful. I'm not by nature a public speaker or someone who seeks out the limelight, but at the same time, I want to get the message out. I want people to know that, if you relate to those more extreme messages, that is good, but you don't have to relate to those to be fit and healthy and to really enjoy life and to feel great. And I just want to make sure people are hearing a shout out to moderation, and that moderation deserves a little bit of fanfare. And so therefore I push through my own personal fear of getting out in the world and saying more things, and just pushing through my own shyness. And I believe you said this in another podcast as well, that your message can sometimes outshine any fear that you might have. So you do want to look at it, but at the same time, if your message is stronger than your fear, what are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the fear and just sit quiet and not say your message? Or are you going to let the message that you care so much about win over the fear? And one of your other guests, Rick Gabrielli, who we both love and adore, he also, yes, Rick, he also talks about choosing love over fear. And that's really what it boils down to. A lot of times our message, and in this case, wellness, it's filled with love, wanting people to be healthier and happier and live a more balanced life. So if your message is loving, that's got to take priority over the fear.
I am appreciating so much. You have said, I think, 5 things that are so inspiring to me right now that I don't know where to begin. I'm very grateful that you mentioned the word moderation, because it doesn't need to be extreme fitness, as you said. It doesn't need to be strict diet. You don't need to be pushing yourself so much that you start doubting, what life am I living now? If you're only thinking that I'm going to feel well when I have a great body or when my health is improving, why not start step by step? And
Exactly.
moderation means that you take a bit of everything, but then you focus on being who you are, focusing on your authentic self, knowing which are your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we sometimes push a bit too much. In these days, we are all overachievers. We maybe like to do a bit more than time allows us to. And very happy that you mentioned Rick. Choosing love over fear does conquer every limiting belief, every blockage that may come in front of us without us even maybe noticing it. Cynthia, can you please tell us, what would you say that inspires you the most in what you do?
Just whenever I hear any kind of positive feedback from anyone, whether it's something from the book saying, I think I can do that, that sounds like something I can do, that warms my heart. In treatment, if I am giving a treatment to someone and they say, oh, I feel like brand new, thank you. Or they tell me something like, one woman in particular, it never left my mind. She was saying that she used to, when she went to the beach, she would have to crawl out of the ocean because her back and her legs, everything just hurt and she felt weak and in pain, but she could walk out of the ocean. And that just made her so much happier going to the beach, to not crawl out of the ocean. Things like that, you know, that stays with you when someone tells you how their life was improved. And that's what keeps me going. If I feel like I've helped other people in some way to feel better or to eat better or to exercise more, all of those things that's my fire.
Beautiful, beautiful. It does sound amazing to know that you are changing people's health and lives and you make them happy all over again. Creating a fulfilled existence is what motivated me to come to you, to learn to you, because you are such a loving, gentle, kind person. And I can only imagine how much love you pour into your clients and patients. And it's just wonderful. Since you mentioned the word book, please tell us more about Soft Health, how it all began, what is the story behind it all, and do tell us, how can people get in touch with you to get this amazing piece of writing?
Thank you so much for everything that you just said, Roxy. And um, a little bit about the book. So that's how it looks again, the cover there. I wanted to pick on the cover something that was not man or woman, young or old, because it was just meant like that anyone can be healthier without any extreme measures if they just make some consistent steps in their life. So the first chapter in it is about exercise, and it is a lot about finding what you enjoy, encouraging people to try different things, because more important than any specific exercise is that you're consistent. Because if you have an imperfect regimen, but you're doing it regularly, you're going to get benefits. But if you have this perfect regimen and you do it just once in a while, it's going to help you those specific times, but it doesn't have the same overall life benefit that consistency does. So I'm very encouraging on that. I'm also encouraging on, if people are trying different things but really not connecting with much, even just getting a pedometer and then making a game out of it. Anytime you can sneak in extra steps, parking farther away, to getting things for people like, oh, can I get up and get you a glass of water? Can I do this? Oh, who wants to let out the dog? Me. You know, being the one to take the initiative and do things. It's a win-win, because you're getting up and doing something for someone. You're getting chores done around the house. Chores are extra steps. just looking at everything that's active as an opportunity to get more steps makes it a little bit more exciting. And then you have the pedometer as your way of like, it's that game and you're getting that more and more. So even if you try the other things and you're not that fond of something, you can always increase your steps with the pedometer. So chapter 1 goes on with things like that. And I also give a little home strength training routine that's very simple, just to have the benefits of strengthening too, because as we get older, muscle mass naturally decreases. It just happens as we get older. So if you don't want to keep losing muscle mass and you want to stay active as you're getting older, which makes you enjoy life more, you want to do some strength training in addition to walking or whatever cardio you like. You want to keep your muscles strong. So I give a really simple at-home routine that you can do with or without weights. That generally a couple of dumbbells is going to be a little helpful for your bicep and tricep work. But otherwise, very simple stuff. In chapter 2, I just outline again that Mediterranean diet, review its main tenets and the main concepts of the Mediterranean diet. And then I just give a few simple tricks that have helped me to stay with the Mediterranean diet, some little hacks and tricks that I've found helpful, and I put that in there. On chapter 3, I go through just motivational science, because there's many different aspects of motivational science that you can apply to wellness. So I just go through everything that has helped me with that. And then chapter 4, I did all the different positive thinking things that have helped me. And chapter 5, I just go into some pain management, things that I've learned in chiropractic. And then just encouraging people to, whether they're using activator chiropractic or something that's not chiropractic, whatever, just address your pain. Because if you have pain, a lot of times it makes you not be active because the pain is stopping you. And then it can also interfere with your leisure, because how many times when we're doing leisure is it kind of active, like you're walking around a museum, you're walking in a park, you're picking up your kids or your grandkids. If you're in pain, your leisure is going to be impacted. So chapter 5 really is about, you want to address your pain, find whatever methods work for you. I go over the proper icing procedure and some stretching also that you can do at home. So pain management is a part of getting the most out of life and wellness too. So I just wanted to put all of this stuff together in that book, Soft Health, to be a resource for people. So you mentioned that, and then you told me I should tell how to reach me. Was that was the other part? Okay. So I got into my book there, but to reach me, there are many different ways. You could certainly connect with me on LinkedIn, Cynthia Hey. My last name is spelled H-E-Y. Also, the book can be searched on Amazon. It's on Amazon. And if you search my name, Cynthia Hey, H-E-Y, it would come up. Also, you could search Soft Health, and then it would come up. So those are ways too. Also on social media, I'm at Cynthia Hey 2 on Twitter and on Instagram. And then I also have a website where there's a contact us button. If there's any questions or anything that you would want to know about, you could definitely contact me through the website directly. And that is www.cynthiaheydcpc.com. And Cynthia, CYNTHIAHEY, DCPC.com.
Wow, Cynthia, I'm loving this book. This is a go-to guide for keeping healthy and having wellness all around, because most of the times, let's face it, we all know what there is to be done, isn't it?
Yeah.
However, why don't we do it? Because it may seem very difficult at first. We think that, oh, it needs to be so complex. It needs to be tough. I'm going to spend hours on end creating meals and going to the gym, but I'm loving the simplicity that you have put into this book, where people can be inspired by what you have yourself tested on yourself. This is such a magnificent book. I'm getting it. I can't wait to have it from
Thank you. I'm so excited. And just one more thing based on what you just said, sometimes knowing what to do and still getting yourself to do it. Simplicity is definitely part of it, but the chapter 3 on motivational science really addresses to that too, because, and just right off the top of my head, the chapter on habits, or I should say the subchapter in chapter 3, this subsection on habits, is really, really important for that. Research on self-control shows that people with high self-control actually don't have really high willpower. What they have is good habits. And habits, anyone can form. There's a science to forming habits. So anyone can get better self-control, even without willpower, if they form habits in a scientific way that are aligned with their goals. So I think that's really exciting news, because anyone can do it. When you have good habits, it becomes part of your day, part of your week. It's ingrained in your routine. And then you're not forcing yourself to do it because it's like a default choice. It's already there. So you can become healthier so much more easily without having to choose over and over again, at least when you have certain really good staple habits in place. So that's one especially good thing from chapter 3 that I love. And another thing that is especially important in chapter 3 is there's another author named Gretchen Rubin who has studied these tendencies of people. And her biggest finding was that the largest tendency of people, they will be accountable to an outside source more regularly than they will be accountable to an inside source of themselves. So for example, someone who wants to diet and exercise, but no one's holding them accountable, if they're this type, which she calls an obliger, they won't as much keep that for themselves. But if someone on the outside is expecting them to do something, like a personal trainer waiting to meet them, a friend who's going to take a walk with them, who's going to meet them and is expecting them at a certain time, this obliger tendency will oblige that outer accountability source. But on the inside, if it was just up to them to take the walk or just up to them to go to the gym, they might not do it. And she found this was the most common tendency. She has 4 different types, and you could Google her, Gretchen Rubin, or again, it's in my book, all more details about it. But that was her biggest breakthrough. So if you recognize in yourself, either from taking her quiz or just knowing yourself and saying, I do tend to do things for others, but when it's up to me and no one's waiting, I'm more likely to not do it. If you recognize that, the beauty is you can just set up the outer accountability. You can set yourself up with a trainer, with a workout buddy. You can sign up for a class, and then that class, you pay for it, all the people there, they know you, they're expecting to see you, and then you have the outer accountability. And same with eating. There are health coaches now that can be hired to help you to stay more on track and accountable with your grocery list and things like that. Health coaches can help. Also, you could just simply have a friend or a diet buddy that you agree you're going to help keep each other accountable. Or you could do a diet group that, like for Weight Watchers is probably the most well-known example, but they have support groups. But there are other like eating type support groups that you can join if you like the group atmosphere. And that also, it's outside of you. It's a source that is going to help you to stay accountable to those inner goals. So that also, but there's more on it, obviously I'm not going to be able to go through all the chapter in our time here, but since you mentioned that, I just wanted to throw that out there, that there are ways that even though if we want to do something, that we can get ourselves to do it, and not just want to, but not. We can get ourselves to do it with habits, with outer accountability and more.
I am so grateful right now, because this is what I wanted to hear. And I'm pretty sure that our audience, the people listening to us and watching us, they need this. There are so many tools and so many resources, and I'm so happy that you mentioned them, because you are not alone when you start this path. Sometimes it may be challenging, but as you say, if you go to a peer group, if you have someone that's supporting you, the journey begins to be so much more beautiful and satisfying, because you are going to see yourself be transformed, and also inspiring your body, inspiring peer group. So it's going to be a never-ending circle of transformations and people
Yeah.
living a healthy, beautiful life. Cynthia, this
Yeah.
is amazing. And before we go, can you please tell us what would you advise someone that's young at the beginning of their journey? What to focus on when it comes to wellness?
I would say this for young people, but in addition, for all ages, is just to always keep your mind open for the things that you enjoy that are healthy, because it's always easier to stick with anything when you enjoy it. So always have your antenna up. Like if you went and played tennis with your friend and you came back and you felt so happy, I would even just keep a list. Write down when you've done an activity that made you light up, that made you feel great. Just write it down and know that that's in your repertoire. That's in your toolbox. Keep that in your life. That was awesome. And the same thing with healthy meals. When you try a new recipe that you love, when you try a new vegetable, anything that's healthy that you eat, keep a log of it. When it's healthy and you felt good after eating it, like you felt more energized, you felt lighter, you didn't feel like it was a brick in your stomach, and it was a healthy meal and a new recipe or a new seasoning, just keep a log of it. And then again, that's like in your toolbox. These are healthy things that I felt great and I enjoyed it when I ate it. And then you have this repertoire that will just grow and grow and grow of all of the healthy activities and the healthy foods that you really enjoy. And that just keeps making it easier and easier over time to stay healthy and well. I would say that to any age.
Beautiful advice, Cynthia. Thank you so much. This was so inspirational and so revelatory for me that, you know what, I'm going to start exercising after our talk today.
Great.
So curious to explore so much more the benefits of exercising. I usually exercise 4 to 5 times a week because this is a habit that I have created in a very long time. I have got to admit it wasn't easy at first, but I needed to give myself an extra push because I really wanted to achieve certain physical goals. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Cynthia, for all your wisdom. This has been wonderful. And can you please share with us once again, where can people find you? Because I'm pretty sure that everyone will want to get in touch with you, both our listeners and the people watching us on YouTube. What is your best way for people to get in touch with you right now?
Thank you again for everything, Roxy. You are just beautiful inside and out. I think you're wonderful. Thank you for everything. And as far as if people would like to find me, my website is www.cynthiaheydcpc.com. And on Amazon, you could find Soft Health. That's what it looks like. On Amazon, you could search Soft Health and it would come up, or you could search my name on the bottom, Cynthia Hey, spelled Hey. On Amazon, it would come up. And just in case you happen to be a sci-fi fantasy fan, I did write a sci-fi novel a few years ago that's also on Amazon, and it's by Cynthia Hey. It doesn't have DC because I was a chiropractor then, but I just didn't think to sign it that way. But it is the same person. So yes, I have a sci-fi fantasy bent as well as enjoying chiropractic and writing. So and then I am on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Cynthia Hey. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Cynthia Hey too. I'd love to connect with anyone and everyone who is open to being connected to wellness ideas and send me messages anytime. I'm open to all kinds of communications.
This is
Thank
wonderful. This has been simply more than educational. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I have loved our talk today. I am loving your amazing mindset, and I'm wishing you all the most amazing success in the world to make
you.
lives that are going to be changed by your wonderful hands and wisdom and beautiful energy. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Roxy, and I wish you all the success in the world. Thank you so much.